All right, folks, welcome in. This is the Bleacher Report post game for the Rams and 49ers game. And let me tell you right now, this is one of the best wins of Sean McVay's career. I'm going to explain exactly why I think that, but the Rams won today 27-24 in a game that some would say they had to have. McVay's never started a season 0-2 until last week, and he was definitely never started a season 0-3. So huge win for the Rams, very banged up in this game. They made a huge comeback. There were some great contributions. When you look at, obviously, Matthew Stafford, heck of a performance, very gutsy going out there. He had Logan Bruss making his first start at left guard, first start ever in the NFL, first snaps in the NFL on the offensive line. He plays left guard. He never played on the left side of the offensive line. So you had that. You had a rookie center going up against guys like Javon Hargrave. And, of course, you had Nick Bosa and, all these guys, Leonard Floyd and so forth. So really, really impressed for the Rams to pull this out. And look, the defense, those are problems, right? You're going to have to fix them. But when push came to shove, even the defense was able to step up and make a play and bring down Brock Purdy and save this game. Braden Fisk and, of course, Kobe Turner, one of the captains of this team, a second-year player that is coming off a year where he probably should have won defensive rookie of the year. This was as fun and as important of a win as it gets. Obviously, I am well aware the 49ers weren't 100% healthy. I am totally aware of that. But you can't take anything away from what this Rams team did on Sunday. Stafford goes for 221 yards, 16 of 26 for a touchdown. I really love the game plan the Rams came out with. They ran the ball with Kyren Williams, 24 carries for 89. Just because Kyren Williams wasn't getting chunk yardage every single play, it's just because he didn't hit 100 yards, just because he wasn't averaging 5 yards a carry or what have you, they didn't abandon the run. 3.7 yards per carry isn't amazing, but Kyren Williams had a hat trick today. And when you look at Williams, the way I look at it is he had a total scrimmage yards over 100, and he had 3 touchdowns. He was a huge contributor. Jordan Whittington was spectacular in the run game. Very good blocking from Jordan Whittington, trap blocker, on the move, made some nice plays, had 3 catches for 28. Tutu Atwell, he has barely been used this year. A lot of Rams fans have been clamoring for this guy to get some usage, and Tutu Atwell was absolutely fantastic for the Rams today. He did everything he needed to. And what he did when you started to realize he was going to have that, that option over the middle on those crossers, and he was going to be open. The 49ers let him have those. It really added another dimension to the Rams offense to be able to utilize Atwell over the middle. And then they still had the deep ball in their back pocket, which they were able to pull off. Stafford still had some plays where you look at Stafford this week, as the comment here from Alex408, my guy Alex. Alaric made a difference. Absolutely agree. Alaric Jackson being at left tackle, he wasn't perfect today, but he was much better in the last 2 weeks that the Rams have had at left tackle. And Matthew Stafford knew his blind side most often was going to be somewhat protected. Because of that, the deep ball was in play today, and it made the Rams a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more dangerous, and ultimately, I think, led to them winning the game. Demarcus Robinson wasn't really targeted much, only 4 targets, although Matthew Stafford didn't really throw that much today either. Demarcus Robinson comes away with 1 catch of those 4 targets. It's a big 32-yard grab. He honestly looked like he might have had, the grab on the Tutu Atwell pass, which, by the way, I would say Tutu Atwell's a better passer and thrower of the football than Deshaun Watson at this point. All jokes aside, though, big win for the Rams. I think really looking at this game just shows kind of you took a little bit of both games, right? There were some ugly moments in this game that we saw in week 2. There were also a lot of moments in this game that we saw in week 1 against the Lions. Gutsy performance. Look, no one is going to feel sorry for you in the NFL. Teams get hurt all the time, but they were without multiple upon multiple guys, key contributors. You look in the wide receiver room. You're without Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. You don't have your cheat codes. You don't have guys that can scheme other guys open. You don't have those rub routes, what have you. So that's the first thing you have to keep in mind. When you don't have those guys, the other guys have to try even harder to get open. And so I was really impressed with what I saw from guys like Tutu Atwell, from guys like Jordan Whittington, Kyron Williams' usage in the passing game. If this tells you anything, is 2 catches for 27 yards and a touchdown in the receiving game, he needs to be utilized more. He has to be a receiving threat moving forward. Remember when Todd Gurley, Sean McVay first comes into the league, 2017, 2018, he has Todd Gurley looking like Marshall Faulk and less like Eddie George. That was the quote that came out. I forget what reporter said that, but that was a big deal, right? He went from looking like Eddie George, just a pure runner, to then he's a multi-dimensional player, and he opens up the playbook. Well, you saw that a little bit today. They're starting to use Kyron a little bit more in the receiving game. He needs to be used even more because you can see it. Kyron Williams was spectacular today. And I don't care about the counting stats. I don't care that he ran 3.7 yards per carry. This was a great performance from a guy who's become a leader for this team, and he's been one of the more underrated players on this team. I feel like he's taken for granted, especially after they drafted Blake Corum. I think a lot of fans just assumed Blake Corum was going to split this thing 50-50. Corum did not have a carry in this game. They went full-on Kyron Williams. Ronnie Rivers had 2 carries, and you got to give Ronnie Rivers a lot of credit as well because he had the conversion on that fake punt that changed the complexion of the game. The Rams don't get that. The 49ers roll in this one. When the Rams get that fake punt, it changed everything. So there was a lot of good things to see in this game. Colby Parkinson had some concentration drops, but he had his moments. Tyler Johnson had a few, he got involved, but I'm just really impressed. And I think really when you're looking at what is the difference between Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan is a very good offensive mind, probably a better play caller than Sean McVay. Sean McVay is a better head coach. This game proved that. Sean McVay was without most of his team, most of his offense. No Cooper Kupp, no Puka Nacua. Tyler Higbee's been out for a while. He was without Davis Allen this week. On the offensive line, you're without Nopum. You're without Jonah Jackson, who you paid top dollar to. You're without Steve Avila, really, really talented center, can also play guard. So you're without those 3 guys. Then you look at the defensive side. No Aaron Donald. He retired. They do miss him. I admit, I thought that they would be a little bit better. They miss him a lot. They had a lot of missed opportunities on sacks all 3 games of the year. But point is, he retired. You knew you were going in the season without him. You also have injuries in your secondary. Your number 1 cornerback, Darius Williams, is out. He is on IR. John Johnson was missed in this game. They need him, and he's out. So a lot of injuries. Hell, even your kicker, Josh Carty, deserves all the credit in the world. Hit all 3 of his extra points today, hit his 2 field goals, hit the game-clinching field goal. And the reason I'm giving him credit, because obviously kickers have to do that. That's their job. This is a rookie kicker who's been very good for the Rams early on. And most importantly, he did this, gutted out with a groin issue going into this game. Keep in mind, he was questionable, barely practiced this week. So a lot of good stuff to take away from this game from the offensive side, from the special teams. Give a lot of credit to the returner here, Xavier Smith, who's technically a rookie. Xavier Smith had a 38-yard punt return that basically iced this game. It was not a guarantee. Rams got the ball back. They had time to go and win it. A lot of people were concerned. Rams tie it up. Should they go for 2? I thought they should have and just taken the lead. It's gutsy. Maybe they shouldn't have. Point being, though, the Rams defense got to stop when they had to, and they got to stop quick enough where the 49ers actually had to punt it because it was a tie ball game. Rams go down the field because Xavier Smith put them in that position. Not bad for your first ever punt return in the NFL. Xavier Smith deserves a lot of credit, stepping into a really high leverage situation and balling out in the moment. You got to give credit to the defense. Defense struggled. No one is going to say it didn't. But when push came to shove, the defense stepped up. That is the important thing. See, We can sit here and say Trey White struggled, this guy struggled, Troy Reeder, Christian Roseboomer problems. That's fine. But they leave the game with a win, and they have a chance to reevaluate on tape. They have a chance to go, throughout practice and find out what is the problem, and those guys can now play. That's my point. If you get out of this game with a win, it doesn't matter. Now, next week, throughout the week, you can reevaluate the situation. And you can go and you can be like, you know what? We're going to go and play Omar Spates this week. We need to change that linebacker. This is a great team win because even though the defense seemed like the weak link and couldn't stop anybody, they got the job done at the end of the game. And it was scary. Hell, it was scary when they were doing all of the backward pass, the laterals at the end of the game, the hook and ladder. You never thought that it was going to happen, but you've seen it before. It's worked before, and you had to hold your breath a little bit. So you got to give a lot of credit. When you look at Verse today, I'll take this away. People are going to have a problem, can't finish sacks. Jared Verse is generating a ton of pressure. He's got to learn how to slow down just a little bit because he plays with so much fire and energy. He over pursues a lot of those opportunities. He's going to get better. He's a rookie, and we're already seeing his ability to put pressure on the quarterback. I'm really excited to see what the PFF, they're going to come out with the pressures and everything. Really excited to see PFF and what the pressures look like. Offensive line wasn't perfect. I'm aware of that, but I thought the Rams defensive line still continued to generate pressures, and I was really impressed overall. This is a team win. This is a great win. This saves their season. If you are one of those people that said the Rams are done, the season's over, fine. By all means, fine. But going into this game, I didn't even think the season was over if they lost this. I'm going to say this now. This might seem bold. The Rams are ahead of schedule. I said it week 1. Defense looks 8 weeks ahead of where they're supposed to be. I'm saying it again week 3, and I'm not talking about the defense. I'm talking about the Rams. See, they're winning these games being banged up. Well, what's going to happen when Cooper Kupp comes back? What's going to happen when Puka Nacua comes back and all the other guys? Because guess what? Nobody that was announced to be placed on IR throughout the season, of course, early season, that's different during preseason and training camp. But nobody this year that has been hurt in the regular season has been ruled out for the year. And that is the good news about this. So, look, I'm just really impressed, with this team. And I think end of the day, this is a guy that, he needs to I just think that there's a lot of, good things happening right now for the Rams. So I don't know why you have somebody who's like hacked the live stream here for like really dumb. Yeah, sorry guys, don't know what's going on. That was stupid. Let's see if can I block this guy? Let's see, block him. Yeah, let's block that guy. Cool. Yeah. The IQ is literally 0 with that person. Anyway, appreciate everyone tuning in on Bleacher Report. Be sure to follow me on all social media at JK Bogan if you like what I have to hear, especially on the Bleacher Report app. This is a huge win. Huge win. Really, really, really impressed. And I really think, at the end of the day, this is one of Sean McVay's best wins because of the variables that went into this game. Because week 3 of the season, your back's against the wall. You don't want to go 0-3. You just came off a 41-10 drubbing against a team you normally bully. You find out you have all these injuries. Cooper Kupp gets injured in a blowout. It's just not looking great. And I know the 49ers were banged up as well, but nowhere near on the level of the Rams. This is great coaching, and I'm super excited for the rest of the season, as you should be as well. So, look, a lot of good things to take away, some bad things, some ugly things. But this is what I'll say. Going into next week, the Rams are now 1-2. If they win the next 2 games, they go into the bye above 500. So think about that for a second, because if they win the next 2 games against the Packers and the Bears, which they're capable of doing after today and the Lions game, they are capable of winning both games. Well, guess what? If they go in to Chicago and they push around Caleb Williams and they beat the Bears, and then they go back to SoFi and they beat the Packers, they go on the bye at 3-2. That means coming out week 7, they have as many wins going into week 7 as they did last year going into week 11. They would be ahead of schedule than they were last year. So a team that people already were like, hey, who are they going to draft in 2025? And I was trying to tell everyone, like, calm down, this season's not over. This is what we talk about. And plus, if you're a Rams fan, then you're blessed knowing that Sean McVay is your head football coach. Okay? You can win games you're not even supposed to win. They had to come back in this game, folks. They had to come back in this game. This was not, they didn't dominate it. It started off very ugly, and they came back. And I'm really impressed because I didn't think the officiating was great today either. I thought that first drive, the defense got, I think it was 3 stops on 3rd down, and they got extended. The 49ers got extended all the way to the end zone. They scored a touchdown the drive. The drive got extended 3 times. So the Rams fought through that, and then they fought through the injuries, and they fought through a comeback. And they went up against a good football team. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how banged up the 49ers are. Look at what Juwan Jennings did to this defense. Are you kidding me right now? They didn't miss anybody because all that production being had by Juwan Jennings. So that's how I look at it, folks. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought they did, a nice job kind of holding Jordan Mason. Look, this isn't a bad performance, but there are people that were saying Jordan Mason was going for 180 in this game, right? They had just run all over this defense. He did not. Brock Purdy, he was torturing the Rams with his legs like I expected, just like Kyler did. That's something they're going to have to work on. That's something that will be an issue against Caleb Williams potentially. That's something that will be an issue against Jordan Love if he plays for the Packers. That's something that's going to be an issue with Gardner Minshew against the Raiders, the Vikings with Sam Darnold. You're going to have that issue with Jalen Hurts. You still have 2 games with Geno left. You still have another game with Kyler, right? You play Josh Allen. Hate to break it to you, there's going to be a lot of mobile quarterbacks, but this is week 3. They can get that stuff fixed. All they have to do is come away with the win. They did that. Let's move on to next week. Excited for it. Hope everyone enjoyed their day. Hope everyone enjoyed this game. If you're a Niner fan, I don't know how you would have enjoyed this game, but there is that big shout out to the Rams. It wasn't perfect, but no one cares. All that matters, once the clock hits 0, you have more points than the other team. That's the name of the game. And the Rams come away with a huge comeback win. And, they're now, think about it like this. They're not 0-2 in the NFC West. The 49ers, however, are 0-1. They have not beaten anybody in the NFC West yet. So big win for the Rams. Tiebreaker for the Rams right now. If these 2 teams are battling for a playoff spot, or they're battling for the number 1 seed, who knows how the season's going to go, or they're battling for any seed for that matter, the Rams right now have secured that tiebreaker. So we'll see what ends up happening. Appreciate you guys. Everyone take care. Be sure to follow me on all social media at JK Bogan. And if you didn't know, I have a YouTube channel, Jake ELLENBOGEN. I go live after every single game. I do call-ins. This all happens after the Bleacher Report stream. So go and check that out as well if you want more. But appreciate everyone joining, and I'll see you guys soon.